How's it going, everyone? It's Min here, and I know, this channel is pretty much being ignored by me. I've uploaded some Dead by Daylight videos up on my other channel, so feel free to go check that out. It is just pretty much a compilation of some funny moments. So today, as you could read from the title, we're tier listing all the perks in Dead by Daylight. This tier list is as of patch 3.7.2. They released a hotfix just a couple hours ago. So without further ado, let's just get started with the alphabetical order. So we're going to be going from top to bottom. So starting off with Ace in the Hole. So Ace in the Hole basically makes it so you find better stuff in chests with add-ons on them. With the more recent change of you don't keep your items or you don't keep your add-ons after you escape with them, this would probably be A tier, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier since you do not keep the add-ons now and it just gives you good items now. And even then, Plunderer's Instinct just gives you good items. So that's where we're gonna put Ace in the Hole. Adrenaline, for those of you that don't know what Adrenaline does, it gives you a health state and a speed boost when all the generator's done. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this in A. I don't think it's quite S tier, but it is a really good clutch perk in the end. As for Aftercare, I believe this perk is really underrated, but that being said, I don't think it's enough to get it into A tier. Aftercare, I'm gonna explain a lot of perks just for those that don't really know. Actually, being able to see your teammates from anywhere on the map, but also having to work for that, it's still under Bond in my opinion, but Aftercare, it is underrated. It is a good perk. Now, for Alert, being able to know where the killer is pretty much at all time without them being able to see you, in my opinion, is A tier worthy. It's extremely underrated perk. Now, Any Means Necessary, this is an iffy one, because if a killer's smart, they'll break a pellet every time. But that being said, recycling loops could be really good. That being said, again, it is very situational, so we're gonna go ahead and throw it in B tier. Now, Autodidact is also a really weird one, because it can be really good and it can be really bad, depending on if you get skill checks or not. So we're gonna throw it in B tier as well. It is a good clutch perk, it can be good, but I have never had a teammate that ran Autodidact where it actually worked in a clutch moment. Because my friend Shadow Hoyt or Brayden, he uses it and he spends all game trying to get the tokens for it. It doesn't work that well, but it can be good, so we're gonna throw it in B. Now, Babysitter is very situational, and it's honestly not that useful in general, because you unhook them, you can see the killer, the person you unhooked, scratch marks and blood pools are silenced for 8 seconds. It's very meh, because for an unhooking perk, it's an anti-tunnel perk, not for you. It's basically just like a worse decisive. Like, if you want to try to not be tunneled, just bring decisive. So I think we're going to throw this in D tier, because it is honestly just pretty useless. Now, for Balanced Landing, they have nerfed it quite a bit. I still do think they could change it back to what it was. Just don't make the stun as much as it was before. Like, it completely negated it before. But maybe we could get it to like a 50% before. But I still think it's A tier. Still really good perk, because it's obviously freaking Balanced Landing. When are you going to not find use out of it? As for Better Together, teammates being able to see gens and pairing it with Prove Thyself is a good combo. I do enjoy running it myself. But honestly, in solo queue, it does... Well, in Travis Friends, it wouldn't work either, because you could just tell your friends where you're doing a gen. But people just don't do gens, period, in solo queue. So I don't know how this works very well in game, because whenever I would run it, I can't get people to come do gens with me. It just doesn't work that well. As for Boil Over, it is very meh, because killers can just see hooks. So I think we're gonna throw it in C, because it is very situational. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it is viable pretty much at all. And as for Bond, we're gonna use it as our first S tier perk. It gives you so much information, and you can honestly see so far with this perk. It just gives you so much information in solo queue. I don't know if I'm ranking this based off of solo queue. I think I am. Doing a tier list based off of Survive with Friends just wouldn't make much sense. But Bond is a super good perk, and I do believe it's S tier. And now for Borrowed Time, this is also an S tier perk. Being able to get someone off the hook for free and safely is a insane perk. Botany Knowledge, being able to heal pretty quickly, is an A tier perk. Completely negates Sloppy Butcher, and it's just a solid perk in general. I do believe more people should run this, because what killers try to do is they'll hit you and then they'll leave you. And running Botany Knowledge to be able to heal others 33% quicker, I believe it is so good. they're trying to stall time by making you heal, so shortening that down is super good. Now for Breakdown, I do think Breakdown is also underrated. I don't think it's quite A tier, but it does have its uses if you want to do an anti-tunnel build. If you pair it with Deliverance and Decisive, and this, if you miss your Decisive somehow, Breakdown is just that extra lifeline. Now, as for Breakout, if you are in Survive with friends, this perk is so much fun. I think it's A tier. I think it might be A tier. It is super fun. It is super good, and you can honestly like make the killer waste so much time and momentum by getting someone off the shoulder. Now, as for Buckle Up, I think this just might be one of the worst perks in the game. By seeing just how far they are recovered, and both of you see the aura of the killer when you pick someone up, that is just not a good perk. It's not useful at all. As for Calm Spirit, if you guys know me, I don't trust anyone that runs Calm Spirit. That being said, it is good against Doctor, and that's why it is not D tier. Now, Camaraderie, for those of you that don't know, it pauses your struggle timer if a survivor is standing near you. And it pauses it for quite a while. So if your team needs to heal up and come get you while Bubba is face camping you, it can have its uses. But then again, I don't think it's worth B tier. But it does have some uses. It's not absolutely terrible, but it is not that great as well. Dance With Me is an odd one because I believe it's only good with Lithe, and that takes up half your perk slots. But Dance With Me can be good. I've personally never found the Lithe Dance With Me combo to be actually good. I mean, it's an odd one because if you lose them, good job. But what you're trying to do is stall the killer's time by looping. Unless you're trying to lose them, you want to run this if you want to lose them, but you're trying to waste time, if that makes sense. So I'm going to throw it in C tier. Some people might call me crazy, but it's only good in the Lithe combo, but by itself, it is not great, I would say, at all. Now, Dark Sense is an odd one. I've never actually ran this perk myself, but you get to see the killer for 5 seconds whenever a generator is completed, which does give you some good information for a good amount of the game. It's not totally useless, but it is not worth running above everything else. Now, Dead Hard is an odd one. I'm still going to say it is S tier, but if dedicated servers actually worked, it would be an amazing perk. It's good only to pretty much get an extra loop around a pallet. It's not actually used for avoiding attacks since you'll just get hit anyways and be dead on the ground. So it is still my main exhaustion perk because it is just super good. Now, we all know where this one's going, right? It's freaking Decisive. It's got to go in S tier. Being able to not get tunneled, and you know what? Decisive has an impact on the game even if you're not running it. The killer will be worried about you running it even if you're not running it. It's just so good. And it'll save you games. It'll be life or death if you escape or not. It's just such a good perk. And I honestly believe it should be toned down in some way. I don't know how, but tone it down in some way. Like, it's life and death with this perk. Like, you will win the game if you run this in a certain situation. Now, Deja Vu is a very bad perk. You get to see where gens are. Might as well just bring a map. It's very useless and honestly just wastes a perk slot when you could bring a map. Deliverance. If you get found first in the game, you waste a perk slot. So I think that if you get your safe unhook, it's S. If you don't get your safe unhook, it is absolute trash. So I'm gonna put it in A tier just because being able to unhook yourself is super good. Alright, Detective's Hunch. This is good if you're running the anti-totem build, but I still think if you're not running the anti-totem build, it is pretty meh. I'm gonna throw it in, I think, B tier. Because it's not absolute trash, but it's not anything amazing either. It's like on the bottom of B tier. Ooh, Distortion. Distortion's a fun one. It's basically anti-barbecue and chili, where you can block your aura 3 times. I think it's good, but I don't think it's A tier yet again. It's pretty good. It's fun. It lets you know if they have nurses calling. It gives you a lot of information. Now, Diversion. Diversion is a fun perk, but I don't see it being above C tier, even though it can have some clutch moments, or if once they find out you have the Pebble, that won't be won't be falling for false notifications like pretty much the rest of the game. So we'll throw diversion in C. As for empathy, I freaking love empathy. It is like super good. Being able to see your teammates from basically anywhere on the map when they're injured, you know if they're being chased, you know if they need healing. It is super good, so I'm throwing it in A tier. Fixated is a bit of a weird one to rate as well, because you can see your scratch marks and then you walk 20% faster. It's really great to run with sprint burst, because all you sprint burst gamers, I'm sure you don't like walking around the map the whole game. I know I don't. So I'm going to throw this in B tier, because by itself, it's not that great. I mean, being able to know if the killer can see your scratch marks is good info, but it is like, you might as well just, I think experienced survivors know if they're showing scratch marks or not, I guess. Flip-flop, I wish flip-flop was good, but the fact that more than likely you'll be picked up as soon as you go down doesn't make this perk viable, so I'm throwing it in C tier. For the people is a bit of an odd one as well, because it's still pretty new. I haven't seen much people run it, but I'm going to throw it in B, just because being able to transfer a health state to anyone instantly is pretty insane and very clutch. It might be A, but I'm going to have to run it myself. I haven't run it at all myself, actually. I've never used this perk in my life, but in theory, this perk could be insane, so I'm actually going to throw it in A. It is really good, because like if your teammate is slugged at the exit gate and you're healed, trying to force you out, you could transfer your health state. You could both run out. It's insane. So it is actually such a really good perk. Head on. At first, everyone thought this was a meme perk, and then it actually became viable. It is an A. It is an A because it is so good. You can stun the killer for 8 seconds if you pair it with Decisive. Such a good perk if you pair it with a Quick and Quiet as well. One of my favorites actually to run in the game. It is so much fun. Hope. I do think Hope is underrated. It is good, but it's only good if, like, it's so odd to place Hope. So I think I'm going to throw it in C, because I don't think it's quite B or A, because, I don't know, because I love Hope, but if it was indefinite, like Noed is in the endgame, then I think it would be good, but since it's not, I'm going to put it in C tier. Inner Strength. Inner Strength is such a good perk. I don't think it's quite S. I think it's still A. It's better than Self-Care. I'll give it that much. I don't think anyone would disagree that it's better than Self-Care. But being able to heal, like, in 9 seconds and be able to heal whenever you want, pairing this with the Vault build and also with, like, Dead Hard is, like, super good. Like, or maybe even Quick and Quiet. You could just Quick and Quiet in the middle of a chase. You're healed. It's super insane. Iron Will. The popularity risen with this perk is insane. It is such a good perk. I do believe it is S tier. Not being able to hear you, like, at all times when you're injured. What? That's nuts. Like, come on. Like, everyone should run this perk. It is nuts. Kindred as well. Kindred in solo queue is nuts. Being able to, like, give your teammates information on where the killer is. So you know where the killer is if they're near the hook. It's nuts. They know, like, you need to go get the save while us two are doing the gen. It's just crazy. So I don't think it's... Actually, it might be S. But I'm going to throw it in A just because I don't think it's on the level of those perks. Leader's a bit of a meh one because it benefits everyone but yourself. And you need to be near them as well. So I'm going to throw this in Leader in B tier because I don't think it is, like, absolutely game-breakingly meta. I do think it should be used more, but I don't see enough people use it to impact the game. Left Behind. I've ran Left Behind before, and it was because of the rift a couple months ago, and I did escape from it because I was slugged and he hooked everyone else and couldn't find me, so I crawled all the way to the hatch because I saw the aura. But I do think it is D tier because it's only viable if the rest of your team is dead, which is not the idea of the game, is to get everyone else killed so you survive. That is just not the case. Now, Lightweight, you guys might think I'm crazy, but Lightweight at level 3, you take 3 seconds off the 10 seconds that scratch marks stick around. And I think that's nuts. I think that is A tier, very much A tier worthy. You take away an insane tracking ability that killers have and shorten it down to 7 seconds. And that's nuts in my opinion. Now, Lithe by itself is a good perk, but the amount of time people get hit through windows anyways means everyone has life all the time. But being able to activate it, period, while vaulting, I think it's good. I think Lithe is good. because I'd rather prefer running Lithe over Sprint Burst for the sole purpose that I get to not like walk around the whole game. I love Lithe for that reason. Now, Lucky Break, I've also never ran this perk, but in theory, if you don't get hit till the very end and you're running Iron Will as well, you are completely undetectable. Like, the killer is not able to find you unless, like, you're self-carrying and they have, like, nurses calling or something, but even then, you could run Distortion and completely just block out everything, which might be an actually fun build video for me to do. But I'm gonna throw it in B tier, because if you're immersed through the whole game and, like, honestly, do killers track survivors through blood pools? If you're good, you do, but you're mostly like listening and looking for scratch marks. That's what killers do. So it is not that great, but then again, I can see that if you pair it with like Deliverance, and you use Deliverance in the very end game, you unhook yourself, you also bleed, you have Decisive, and maybe you run off the record as well, and so you can you're completely undetectable. Like, completely undetectable in the end game. So that could actually be another fun build to do as well. So we'll throw Lucky Break in this B tier. Medal of Man. This perk used to be S tier. Now I would consider it one of the worst perks in the game. They did supposedly fix protection hits. I have not tried it yet. I think it is C tier just because it is still so hard to get it to actually work. If you get it to work, it's A or S tier, I believe. But it is not very good in its current state. No, either. I wonder where this one's going, guys. Down to the bottom of D tier. Everyone knows this as the worst survivor perk in the game because you are injured the entire time and cannot heal the entire game. It is not good at all. Now, No One Left Behind, I would say worse than No Mither, but it's just straight up not. Because I don't think anyone runs this perk. Form Altruism thing's 50% quicker. Like, you might as well just run Will Make It if you're trying to heal when the exit gates are open. Like, come on. Now we get the Object of Obsession. I've never ran this perk myself either. I do want to start because being able to know where the killer is at literally all times is toxic, mind you, because the killer is you're just an annoyance to the killer literally the entire game. So I think I'm going to throw it in S just because that information is, like, insane. You know when the killer's coming for you and you can see the killer. It's just nuts. Now, off the record, I do think it has some potential in some builds, but you might as well just run. It's Distortion and Iron Will broken into one perk. So, and since it only is temporary for 80 seconds, 80 seconds is a long time after you've been hooked. So it might be good. I don't think it's unviable, but I don't think it is great either. Now, Open-Handed, it is good. I think if you tell your teammates that you have it, and if everyone runs Bond, you can literally see everyone from 42 meters away, and that's crazy. As well as if you're running it with Kindred, you can see the killer from so close to so far away from the hook. It is actually nuts, but I do think it is situational. You need to actually tell your teammates that you have it, or else you're basically just wasting a perk slot. Pharmacy makes you open chests 80% faster. No, Pharmacy makes it so you're searching through chests a lot quieter, and you do it 80% faster and guarantees you an emergency medkit. I've only ever ran this perk in 1 or 2 games, and that was because I was doing Adept Quinton. I don't find it that useful, so I don't think it is worth the use at all. Now, Plunderer's Instinct is an item farming perk, so I do think it is A tier. Nothing much more to say than that, since you just get somewhat better items, and you can see chests through walls. Poised is, again, very situational, and in my opinion, not worth the use, since you just don't leave scratch marks for a certain amount of seconds after you complete a generator. Not that good, in my opinion. Premonition for all you P3 Claudettes out there. I do think it is situational, since it does let you know if the killer is near you or coming near you, but it is severely outclassed by Spine Chill, insanely outclassed by Spine. Prove Thyself, I think Prove Thyself is as S tier meta, because it is the Gen Rush perk. Being able to complete generators quickly is the survivor's objective, and doing that in any way faster makes this perk nuts. Quick and Quiet as well, I do believe is S tier meta. It is crazy that it's only on a 20-second cooldown to fast vault something, and it completely doesn't notify the killer. Pairing it with Head On is nuts as well, because you can just mid-chase, hop on a locker, 3 seconds later, head on their butt, and you're home free. Now, Red Herring, I've also never ran this perk myself. Once you do a generator for 3 seconds, it is highlighted in yellow aura. Then once you get in a locker, it'll notify the killer that you are at that gen, but you're actually not. So it's basically like a fancier diversion, kind of. I do not think it is worth the use. Actually, I would say this is not viable. Just because you might as well run diversion where you can actually control where you're throwing your notification. I just can't see this being much useful at all. Resilience has seen a rise in popularity the last couple weeks, as it is a great pairing with. It is great with Spine Chill because you vault things 15% faster while in a chase, which is absolutely crazy, by the way. So we are gonna throw it in A tier because I don't think it is quite S tier. It is meta, but I don't think it is S tier. Saboteur has received a rework, and you can see auras of a hook 56 meters away from where a survivor is being carried. You stab a hook in 2.5 seconds, and it has a cooldown of 60 seconds. It is pretty good, but it is situational. Now, Second Wind, I have actually been running Second Wind a little bit, and it's starting to become a perk I'm actually liking if I actually get it to work. But that being said, again, it is situational if you actually get your heal off before you are healed. Now, Self-Care is an odd one because it is seeing a decrease in use because it is outclassed by being healed by other survivors, Botany Knowledge, Inner Strength. So we're going to put it in B tier because I don't think it's an absolute trash perk, but I don't think it's an absolute meta good perk that you should be running. But then again, it is not terrible as well. Slippery Meat, you get 3 extra attempts off the hook. I do not think this is viable. If you're trying to get the achievement, maybe, but that's like it. Small Game seems even more useless than Slippery Meat. So we're going to throw it there as well. Soul Survivor, I've never ran this perk myself. Your aura cannot be read by the killer within a maximum range of 20, 22, 24 meters for each. This isn't on another, like, it's like Left Behind. The goal of the game is to not, you want to escape with your teammates, not without your teammates, so we're going to throw it in not viable at all. Solidarity, when you're pairing with Autodidact, is an amazing combo, because you're basically healing yourself at the same time. Like, you're healing yourself at 50% of what you're healing another person. It saves a lot of time, so I'm going to put it in situational, because you need to run it with another perk to make it viable. I have no idea why I have Spies from the Shadows here, so I'm not going to do it. Spine Chill is an S tier perk. Being able to know when the killer is coming to your being able to know when the killer is coming in your direction is absolutely crazy, so you can get an early head start, and being able to do stuff 6% faster, including vaulting, pairing this with Resilience, is an insane combo. So we're going to throw it in S, because it is nuts for any type of playstyle. Now, Sprint Burst, some people believe Sprint Burst is the best exhaustion perk in the game. However, I do not believe so, because you are wasting tons of time by not running everywhere. And by walking everywhere, you are wasting a lot of time just trying to get your Sprint Burst back. It might help you in the long run, but I do not think it is absolutely crazy. Stakeout, I do not find it being, like, I've never ran it myself, but it does seem very not viable. You hit regular skill checks and it sees it as great skill checks. It's just not great. Streetwise as well has received, like, it's pretty much not worth using because all the Survivor items have seen a severe decrease in charges, which might make it more viable, but I don't see it worth running because items don't stick around for a long time at all anymore. Technician, it is good for new players. It reduces the hearing distance. It reduces the sound generators make by 8 meters. There's 50% chance the generator will not explode if you miss a skill check. I would say it's situational, but I also do think it is just straight up not worth the use. Even though I love the perk icon. It's like the only charm I use on Fang. Tenacity is very situational. With it's good with Unbreakable and Flip Flop, but again, perks that revolved on you being downed. If killer's smart, they'll pick you up instantly, but if they're going for slugging, then it doesn't matter. It's good if they're slugging, it's not good if they're not slugging. So I would say it is not worth the use, in my opinion. Now, this is not happening. I've never ran this perk. Actually, I have ran this perk, because it was for a Rift. You have bigger success zones. I would say it's not viable and not worth running. Unbreakable, we're throwing that bad boy up in S tier, because being able to pick yourself up and recover faster on the ground is insane and absolutely game-changing. Up the ante, for every survivor alive, you get a little bit more lucky. And luck is not something that survivors honestly need to worry about unless you need a 4% off the hook or get better stuff in a chest. And that's pretty much all you need to worry about. That's pretty much all luck does. Urban Evasion, I do believe, is A tier for all you P3 Claudettes and Nia players out there, and anyone in general. It's good. If it's good versus Hag, it's good versus if you're like trying to stay immersed, like while crouching around something, trying to stay hidden and all that stuff. So I do think it is viable. I don't think it is quite S tier. Now Vigil, I ran Vigil. Me and my friend Shadow, we did a session of running Vigil and Sprint Burst, and honestly, it was pretty good if you run Vigil and Sprint Burst, since you shave down about 8 seconds off your Sprint Burst timer. So it can be good with Sprint Burst, but I wouldn't say it's quite situational. I would say it's not worth the use if you're not using it with Sprint Burst. Now for Wake Up, you open exit gates a tiny bit faster, and you can see the exit gate. It's not that great. You open it 15% faster, which is a decent amount. I would say, I don't think it's quite not viable, but I would say it's not worth the use. And for the last perk, we're gonna do We'll Make It. We'll Make It is super good. It is like insane. You literally heal someone in like 6 to 8 seconds. It is nuts. It's anti-tunnel. If you pair it with Decisive and the teammate heals you, you get hit and you still have Decisive if you go down quickly and if you're bad at looping. But it's just nuts in general. So guys, that's going to do it for our tiers. Remember, this is all my opinion, so if you have your own opinions, feel free to leave me a comment and explain to me why you don't like what I placed certain perks where. When the new chapter comes out, I will add on the next perks into this tier list. Probably, I won't make an entire video on it, but I will probably add it to like a start or an end of an upcoming video. So with that being said, guys, again, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this video isn't too long, even though this recording has been going on for 40 minutes now. I will try to shorten it as much as I can, so you guys aren't having to sit here listening to me talk about perks for 40 minutes. And yeah, guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.